Hi and welcome to the Friday. This is recorded, in fact, some time in advance. I've been away for some time, haven't I? I've been in Portugal, but I'm now in Ireland, actually. And then I'm back as normal, which is good. And we'll start a new topic next week. I thought for this week I would record a revision thing. And we're doing defence, just revising defence, and it's a good thing because we're going to move on next week to a new topic which will be defending versus doubled contracts. So we're going to look at the very basics of defence today before actually looking at what happens in doubled contracts, etc. in our new topic next week. And at the same time, of course, we are in a new month. And November last year was unblocking and blocking as declarer. Well, we are defending unblocking and blocking hands. So that's quite an interesting thing. So hopefully you'll enjoy that as well. So plenty going on. And hopefully we'll get back to normality as November progresses. But I hope you enjoyed the various recordings. Hopefully I've enjoyed my holiday. I can't tell you yet because this is recorded before I've been on that holiday. But yes, in Cork this week. So let's just move. I'm not going to have any of the little bidding quizzes or anything like that. All I'm going to do is do a little bit of revision on defensive play. Obviously, what I call the basics of defensive play, but in no way do I mean that this is simple. What I mean is that it's fundamental. So it's the bits of defensive play that we really should know well, and revising them endlessly is a good idea. So here we are. Second hand plays low and third hand plays high. We're going to look at a couple of excerpts from that. And then I will call it a day, as it were. So I'm not going to have the 5-level decision or the bidding quiz or anything like that. It's just a bit of revision. So here goes. Hope you enjoy. So the two most fundamental elements of your basic defence are this. Your high cards jobs is to kill other high cards if they can. So if you've got an ace, you want it to kill a king, a queen or a jack. You've got a king, you want it to kill a queen, a jack or a 10. As long as you're killing other high cards, then you will find in defence you do pretty well. Okay. So the phrase we often use is an ace's job is to kill a king, but it can be a queen or jack. If declarer's got the king, queen and jack, as long as the ace kills one of them, hopefully your partner or yourself might have the 9 or the 10 to win the 4th round of the suit. And equally, when it comes to the 4th round of the suit, the middle cards are important. So I do not want you just throwing a middle card, or just to make sure they don't play the 7. So declarer's got king 7 and you put the 9 in to force the king. Bear in mind, and this is the most difficult aspect of defence, is your self-consciousness. Okay, you're looking at your cards and it's very hard to understand that declarer can't see them. Declarer is simply looking at his 2 hands. He's only self-conscious as well. So he's going to lead up to his king. He doesn't know you've got the 9 of diamonds, and so therefore maybe the 7 would be a normal play. Okay, he's just looking at his own cards and thinking, I'll lead up to the king and maybe finesse the jack later. So you do not need to waste your middle cards. Okay. And very often the 8s and the 9s are the cards that win the 4th round of the suit. There's 2 players with a 4th card in the suit, the others have all gone. So it's important that you have that middle card to win that 4th round of the suit. Okay, a classic example here. Let's imagine you're sitting in the west seat and you hold the ace, 9, 7, 6 of clubs. Let's say it's a no trump contract. And you can see the clubs in dummy. Now, you're not happy because your ace, if declarer plays well, your ace cannot kill the king or queen. What do I mean by that? Well, surely declarer can lead towards the king and then again lead towards the queen. But we can duck and make him work hard. So let's say the first club is led. Okay, I want my ace to kill a high card. I can't kill. If I play the ace now, it just gets the 2. Okay, so there's the first round of the suit. Now declarer crosses back over to his hand. He's doing the right thing. If he leads the queen here, we just kill it with the ace. Okay, but instead he leads another small one. Once again, we duck it though, because the fact that Declare is playing the suit might suggest that he has length in the suit. And actually your partner's played high-low, so it's not going to surprise me hugely that Declare has Jack and another one left. And Declare may well hope the suit breaks 3-3 and play another club. And of course, if he plays another club, our ace is there to kill the Jack. If Declare ducks the next club, we win with the 9. If he plays to the Jack, our ace is able to kill the Jack. So the fact that it's killing the Jack and not the King and Queen doesn't matter. The King, Queen and Jack are all equal. As long as our ace kills a high card, Declare will only make 2 tricks in this suit. Okay, so there's the full suit. It's a classic layout. Much more difficult in a suit contract maybe, when you've got to judge how many cards Declare has. That's where you have to work together, particularly if trumps are drawn here. I mean, it's different if trumps aren't drawn. You might be able to give your partner a rough. But assuming trumps are drawn, we're still in the same situation. And if you see your partner play the high-low that he did here, you place Declare with 4 clubs. So your job would still be to wait to the 3rd round to try and kill the Jack. There can be complications. Maybe Declare can discard the rest of them, etc. It's never as easy as it seems here, but in no trumps, this is a classic scenario. And if you're patient, your ace eventually kills that Jack, and you end up possibly making 2 tricks in the suit. If instead your ace goes early, well, there you go. Declare has still got the Queen and Jack left. Okay, so if you, let's say Declare wins the King on the first one and another one was played and you put the ace up. That's what a lot of defenders do. They duck the first one and win the second. No good. You've got to be patient. Ace's job is to kill a high card. Now, if you do it all the time, you will go to bed with aces sometimes. Okay, it's not always going to be easy for you to judge. Okay, all right. But in the long run, by keeping your aces back, you will gain, I promise. Okay, so there's the full layout. So let's look at this one here. Declare leads small, and it's your play. You're holding. Once again, you're sitting in the west seat, and you can see dummies holding. So this is where it gets tricky as a defender, because it feels, look, if you play the 10, you're going to force Declare to play the ace. Okay, and that is true. And in fact, if you play the 10, you will definitely make the Queen. But the problem is you're playing the short game. You're making sure you make 1 trick. Whereas, let's say we're in no trumps here. The reason Declare is playing this suit is because he's trying to establish the suit. And he has actually got 4 clubs in the south hand. Now, he's been dealt the King Jack to 4. He can't see your cards. So the normal way for him to play the suit is to lead up to the ace and back to the Jack, finessing your partner for the Queen. He doesn't know who's got the Queen. Okay, now, you do. And so you become self-conscious and think, well, if he knows I've got the Queen and 10, his 9 maybe will win this trick. But he doesn't know. And if he does finesse the 9 or even run the 7, well, then you need to hold your hard cards up higher. Okay. So this is a classic situation where you just follow low. If you're happy to play high-low, maybe you want to tell partner how many you've got. That's a different matter. Okay, nobody knows that yet, but you might play 5 followed by 4. I don't mind if you just play the 4. But I'm not playing the Queen or 10. Okay, so let's see that. This is the classic suit. It's just normal. You're going to pick up that as Declare. Well, a lot of times you just lead the 7 to the ace and you lead back to the Jack. And you'd be really unlucky if West had the Queen 10 to 4. Now, you know that West has Queen 10 to 4. And as long as you keep the Queen 10, you're likely to make 2 tricks out of it. Let's see how the suit goes. Small, small, ace. And then Declare just takes a finesse. Just normal. He doesn't know where the cards are. So your Queen wins that suit, wins that trick. Later on, of course, Declare cashes the King, hoping to make the rest of the suit, but your 10 is there to win the last round. Okay. If you've wasted that 10, that is not good news, because look, you put the 10 in just to make sure Declare plays the ace. The key is Declare was going to play the ace. Okay. So he does play the ace, but now, as long as Declare has seen that 10 go, he's thinking, oh, this is great. The only high card I'm missing now is the Queen, so I know I'm going to make 2 tricks out of this suit. So he still takes the finesse. But of course now his king and 8 are winners. Your 10 has gone. You've wasted it. So declarer makes the last 2 tricks in the suit. So you made your queen, of course, but you didn't make your 10. You have wasted those middle cards. Okay, and I can make it more subtle for you. Okay, so obviously the rule is second hand plays low. Okay, and there are very few exceptions. I mean, you'll have doubleton honours and things like that. But for the most part, second hand low. If you did it every time, it wouldn't do you any harm. And this is a classic normal situation. On this one, it's simple. Declarer leads the 4, you play the 5, just normal. And declarer's just hoping that you've got the ace. Maybe at the end of a hand, he's desperate. He leads up to the king, hoping that you've got the ace, but unfortunately it's your partner from his point of view. And we make 3 tricks in the suit. It's in fact what we call a frozen suit. Your queen 9 is sitting over the jack. It's lovely. Okay, and declarer gets a nasty shock. Okay, so let's look at the same suit, another leader club. Now, I haven't changed much here. I have changed the 7 of clubs in dummy from the 3. So it was king 3-2. Now with king 3-2 in dummy, you know the 5, in inverted commas, forces the king. But a lot of defenders here will think, oh, I think I better play the 9 to make sure the king is played. But that 9 is precious. How many times have you seen declarer make a plan of leading small to the 7 here? And let's be honest, if he does, he'll probably lose to my partner's 8. Okay. Declarer has no thought of playing towards the 7 of clubs here. Declarer is playing towards his king, hoping you've got the ace. But that 9 is crucial. Let me show you why. Okay, here's the holding. We've just seen it happen. As long as you play small, it goes 4, 5, king and ace, and your queen 9 is sat over the jack. Are you happy with that? So declarer could actually lose all 3 tricks in the suit. Look at what happens if you make a mistake. You put the 9. Defenders will say, I just wanted to make sure to force the king. Remember, they can't see your cards, and that 9 is precious because look what happens. The ace, king, and 9 have gone now, and rather than you having the queen 9 surrounding the jack, it is now declarer's jack 8 that are surrounding your partner's 10. So if declarer leads a small club, if East plays the 10, the jack kills it and establishes the 8. If East plays small, declarer can put the 8 in and bring out the queen. You've given, by wasting the 9 of clubs, you've given declarer a chance to make a trick in the suit. So you've got to be careful. You don't need to waste those middle cards. Every so often, declarer will do some demon play. Okay, but to be honest, it's probably not a great play. And most of the time they do a demon play, it usually means they lose out. But every so often, maybe they'll work out what's in your hand and somehow do something extraordinary. Okay, as you can see here, if we go back to the original layout, I mean, what good does playing to the 7 do, declarer? If declarer plays to the 7, your partner wins the 10. So there's no harm in playing small anyway. And if every so often they've taken the deepest finesse you've ever seen, it's maybe a job for you to hold your cards up. That's all I can say. Okay, breast your cards, as you might have been taught a long, long time ago. It's a thing that we're not taught now, I will say. It's perhaps the first rule of bridge that you should know, is how to hold your cards. And I would say that's something that a lot of new players don't know. So if you come across new players, do warn them, particularly obviously when playing live, to take care of their cards. Okay, let me just go to the second part of our little revision topic, and that is third hand. So I've just taught, as you can say, I'm sort of sure a lot of you think that's completely basic. It is, and that's all I'm doing today. It's a revision of the very basics of defense so that we can move on to next week, looking at defending versus doubled contracts, being prepared that we know the basics and seeing how we can get the most out of our cards. So third hand plays high. What on earth does third hand mean? Well, third hand means your partner has led. Okay, your partner has led. So your partner was the first player to lead the suit. Very different to second hand. Second hand play, you play low, your partner's still in the trick. So your partner can do the business, as it were. Okay. Third hand play, you're the last player to play. So if you play low, so if your partner's led low and you play low, declarer wins cheaply. So most of the time we need to put a high card up, and we're doing it because our partner is asking us to. Okay. So, playing the right card. If in doubt, play your highest card. It's the same as second hand low. If in doubt, just play low. Most of the time it will work, and it's the same with third hand play. If in doubt, play your highest card. If it's wrong, you can blame your partner. Very often your partner's led from his strength. He's hoping that you waste your high card to knock out a card of the opponent's, and then your partner's hand is then high. Okay. Slightly different if your partner makes different leads, but a low lead promises an honour. So the idea is partner, I've got a bit of strength in this suit. If you play your strength, hopefully that then develops mine. Okay. Now, if your partner does lead a higher spot card like an 8 or a 9, you might change your mind, as it were, as in you know your partner hasn't got much. Okay. But for the most part, if in doubt, play your highest card. Okay. The other rule that we do need to know third in hand is on opening lead. On opening lead versus a suit contract, your partner should not underlead an ace. So if your partner has a suit with an ace, a long suit with an ace, against a suit contract, your partner either leads a different suit or your partner leads the ace. Most of the time you should lead a different suit. So we are always going to assume on the opening lead against a suit contract that partner does not have the ace. And that can make a difference to our play. Okay, so here's a classic 3-no trumps layout. I've shown you all the cards so you can see them, so that we can see how simply the suit should be played, of course. Your partner leads the 4th highest from his length, and we play our highest card. We're not contemplating playing a lower one, we just play our highest card. And then, of course, we lead the suit back. We're relying on our partner. He's said he's chosen the suit to lead, so we just lead the 10 back straight through the queen, and our partner wipes out declarer's cards, and we take the first 5 tricks. Okay, so very nice indeed. So that's the simple element of third hand high. Unfortunately, not like second in hand. Second hand play, there's not that many exceptions. Third hand high, there are. And you'll have seen me go through these many a time. I'll just have a look at a couple of them now, the most common ones, so that we can get ourselves ready for the Fridays to come, as it were, that will lead us towards the new year and towards double annui. So I'm hoping to get us defending double contracts better, so that when double annui comes, we're going to have the double whammy. The double whammy of doubling more and getting more defensive tricks against those doubled contracts. So the exceptions, well, when you've got touching honours, that's a nice and straightforward one, but an important one. It's the only time in bridge, really, where we tend to play lowest of touching honours. And when there's an honour in dummy, those are the 2 things we'll touch on today. There are other exceptions, of course, when there's nothing to gain. We'll see that today as well. But the idea of communications is for another topic in total, where you duck an early round of the suit so that you can eventually both lead the suit later. Okay, so that's what I call beyond trick 1. That would come up. Okay, so here's a classic one. Again, I've shown all 4 hands so you can see it. West chooses to lead a club, leads his 4th highest. You are East, and your job here is to play the lowest of touching cards. So if you were on opening lead with Queen Jack 4, you would lead the Queen, top of touching cards. Most of the time, that's what you do in bridge. However, third in hand, it makes sense to play the lowest, because what happens is that when you play the Jack, let's say declarer wins the ace. Well, West is thinking, well, why didn't declarer win with the Queen? Surely if declarer had had the ace and Queen of clubs, declarer would have won that first trick with the Queen. And what that means is that West can place his partner with the Queen. So when he gets the lead, let's say West gets the lead next, he underleads his king, confident that his partner has the queen. Does that make sense? And that allows the suit to run smoothly. If instead West is worried and plays the king, then of course, assuming that East follows small, the queen would block the suit. Okay, so it's important that the low confident partner's got the queen. Okay, now of course Declarer might have ducked this suit, that's a different matter. But there will be times Declarer's got 2 weak suits, so he deliberately wins the ace on the first one. And unless West is confident that his partner has the queen. So if East had made the mistake of playing the queen instead, Declarer wins the queen with the ace, well, West will assume that Declarer has the jack, because East should be playing the lowest of touching. So if you do the opposite and play your queen instead of the jack, then West probably will switch, thinking, well, I can't lead that suit. I know Declarer's got the jack, so I'll wait until partner can lead to me. So it's really important that you do play the lowest of touching cards. Okay, and that can be quite low. So, I mean, Declarer, partner leads small and dummy has the 9 of a suit, and you have the 10, 8, 7 of a suit. So it would go small, small, and you could play the 7 there because you are surrounding the 9. You're playing the lowest of touching equals, if that makes sense, the lowest of touching equals. Okay, so third hand plays high, but of course one of the major exceptions is when we've got this fundamental law of defense, and that says my ace's job is to kill a high card. So you have now got 2 things operating against each other. Now, if dummy has all low cards, you've got to play the ace. You've promised partner you'll play your highest. But if dummy has a high card, things are very different, aren't they? You've got to contrast the two. Now, clearly, if dummy plays the king, you kill it with the ace and carry on. When dummy plays low, you have a decision to make. Okay. Now, the first thing to work out is partner's lead from an honor or not? Well, partner leads low from an honor, leads high when he has not got an honor. Here, there's no doubt that that's the lowest card partner could have led, isn't it? We can see the 4, 3 and 2 there. So it's a low lead promising an honor, which there in turn means our jack may well win the trick. So we're not going to play our highest card when the 3 is played. We're going to play the jack, keeping our ace back. And hopefully you're all happy with that. Okay, so the jack would win the trick. And then later on, you might wait, in fact, for your partner to get the lead again. That's a judgment call. It can be difficult because if partner had, here you know partner's only got 4, but if partner had 5 card suit, you might just want to develop the suit by playing the ace and another club. But here, if you do wait, your partner can get the lead and lead the queen. Because the jack's gone, the queen and 10 are touching, so your partner can lead the queen through the king. And that would mean you don't even lose a club. Basically, using that fundamental rule of defense, use your aces to kill high card. However, it does get more difficult the lower it goes. So again, the 5 of clubs we decide is low. In fact, it's not just low, it is the lowest. So this is true if you're in a suit contract as well as no trumps. Here, I know partner can only have 4 clubs. If we go back, there was 3 in dummy. So if partner can only have 4, the suit looks to be breaking 4, 3, 3, 3. So there's no worry about roughing or anything like that. So whether you're in a suit contract or a no trump contract, you'll be thinking the same thing. I want my ace to kill the king. I know partner's got an honor here. So I'm going to put the 10 in here, okay, and I'm going to keep my ace back, okay, and that's really important. This is the classic situation where Declarer has split honors. Declarer shouldn't like that kind of holding. He expects one of his king or queen to lose to the ace, and as long as the defenders defend correctly, that will be the case. It goes small, small, 10, queen, okay. Our ace is still in place to kill the king, so when West gets the lead, he's able to lead the jack. Again, touching equals, because the 10's gone, jack and 9 are equal. He leads the jack and pins the king against our ace. Can you see that? And it gives us the chance to develop the suit, only losing 1 trick. If instead you play your ace on the first round, Declarer makes his king and queen separately, and that is expensive. That kind of suit comes up so often. There it is in its full glory, as it were. Declare is stuck, and if Declare has to play the suit himself, maybe plays a small club up to the queen, that's his best chance. But on the next round, your ace is there to kill the king. Declare should only make one trick in this suit. It's always tricky when your partner leads it. Makes it much harder for you, and if you had ace 6-2 here, or ace 7-2 or something like that, you're probably going to put the ace on and hope that partner's got the queen 10, if that makes sense. But because you've got the 10, maybe even the 9, you can stretch here and put the 9 in. Okay, the 9 or 10. Always tricky though, isn't it? Okay, so your first, there's two fundamental rules here. Third hand plays high, and my high card's job is to kill another high card. And you've got to try and get the balance between the two. Okay, and it is not easy. Okay, let's finish off with that third element where there is nothing to gain. So there's two ways of looking at this. Partner could have led maybe a high card. Now here the 6 of clubs looks middly to me. Okay, but if partner had led the 8 here, you see, I'd be thinking, well, I know partner hasn't got an honour. Okay. Here, the 6 looks quite high as well. We're missing the 4 and the 2. It is tricky. You have to look at the spot cards and work out. In fact, I can only see we are only missing the ace, the 8, the 6, the 4 and the 2. So I would have thought most of the time partner's probably led mud maybe, or from nothing. Now, if this is a suit contract, of course, if it's an opening lead, I know partner hasn't got the ace. But the key here is because it's Queen Jack 10-9 in dummy, there's nothing to gain. If we're in no trumps and partner has actually got the ace, well, we're going to make the ace and king eventually. The worry I've got is that if South has the ace and I play the king, I've just wasted that. I've not gained anything at all. Remember, when you cover a high card, let's say the queen goes up, you think, oh, king kills the queen, but you're doing that to promote something. Well, you can see the Jack 10-9 there. Your 7-5-3 can't beat them, so you're not promoting anything. And you're thinking a number of things intuitively. A lot of the time we think, well, it doesn't make any difference. But of course, how many clubs does South have? If partner's led the suit, there's 4 there, there's 4 there. It's not that much of a leap of the imagination to think that South might have just 1 or 2, which means if you hold your king back, eventually that ace will be played on nothing. Does that make sense? Okay. So the missing cards were the ace, the 8, the 4 and the 2, and that's all that's missing. So I suppose partner might have led them 3 to the ace, but it's an unusual lead. I would have thought, those are the kind of leads he would lead. If he chose to lead clubs from a doubleton, he'd lead the 6 from 6-4. From 8-6-4, you'd often lead mud. And from 8-6-4-2, would often lead the second highest. So it could be any of them. But clearly, I would have said that the latter ones are the more common. So here, if you do play low, there is the holding. So partner, maybe it's an unbid suit. And your partners, maybe they've bid diamonds, hearts and spades. They finish in 3 no trumps. Your partner chooses a club. And it's imperative that you keep your king back here. Okay. And if you do, you will make a trick. And even if it's a suit contract, if you put your king on the queen at trick 1, the ace wins. Declare has suddenly got 4 easy tricks. Whereas if you keep it back, yes, Declare can eventually rough it good. But then that takes a lot of effort. Declare has to unblock the suit, cross over, lead the queen, you cover it. He would then need another entry to get to his winner. And that will often be too difficult. So be careful when there is nothing to gain. Okay. So when there's a solid holding in dummy. Okay. Because obviously Declare plays his ace on the second round on nothing. So let's finish with one hand. I hope you've enjoyed the revision. Here is an example hand of putting this all into practice. Let's see what the auction is. We are sitting in the east seat. I hope you're happy with that. You can see the green bays. That's the centre of the table. South, we cannot see South's hand. South opens 1 spade. North bids a normal 2 spades. I know there's only 5 high card points, but there's just 9 losers in a singleton there, so it's definitely worth it. And South bids 4 spades. Okay, so we haven't got into the auction. I know we have got 9 points, but there's no reason to be bidding, obviously, over 2 spades. So you're defending against 4 spades. It is your partner on lead. And your partner leads the 5 of clubs. Okay. Okay, well, you're hopeful that you might make a trump trick because you've got a nice holding there. The chances are declarer might play the ace-king or something like that. So what is going on in clubs? That's your job. Okay, so the dummy plays the queen. Okay. So here we have that fundamental second line that I had on third hand high, which is you never, or you should never, underlead an ace on opening lead against a suit contract. You don't even have to know why, to be honest. It's just not many experts have really, really strict rules, and there are not many rules that are very strict for experts, and this is one of them. And the reason is because it guides everything you do at trick one. Okay, so the main reason, of course, for not underleading an ace is because there could be a singleton. Okay, that's your simple reason. But the second reason is your partner has to work out what to play. So the key here is, in inverted commas it is, but that declarer has the ace of clubs. And if you know that, then that guides your choice of play. Because if you cover the queen with the king, the ace wins, the jack's going to win this and the next trick. And there is another little thing that you may have come across. So what is the lead? Partner doesn't have the ace. So it's probably a doubleton or mud or something like that. Okay, but partner does not have the ace. So it could be a singleton, but that seems unlikely on the auction. You'd feel, and it's not going to make much difference to your play. Okay, but it could just about be, I suppose. Declarer could be 5-5 in spades and clubs and have opened a spade. Okay, but the key for me is that if you know the king is losing, when there's two honours, the king still has the opportunity. So if there was only one honour there, it's different. So let's say it was just the queen of clubs had gone up, I would kill it with my king because I'm hoping that partner, maybe he's got the jack, for example, has led small from the jack. Okay, but here, when there are two honours, your king still has the opportunity to do its job because the jack is there. Does that make sense? So I can still kill that jack with my king. Okay, and therefore, whenever you see two honours together and you can cover them, generally we wait until the second round to do the covering. So we play low. Okay, and it's a relatively straightforward hand. Okay, and intuitively you'd have thought it makes no difference. Look at partner's hand. I hope you can see why he's led a club. I mean, because you don't like the lead and you're going to criticise your partner for it. That's fine. But what's he supposed to lead? If he'd led a trump, I think he'd capture he would kill your trump holding a singleton trump. That's why we don't lead a singleton trump. I think declarer will probably finesse your queen and 10. And we don't like leading aces. Okay, one of them might have worked out okay if you don't like leading aces, you don't like underleading aces. So I think a club is the best lead there. Okay, I hope you can see that, before you criticise your partner. So when a club was led, we chose to play small. Now at this point, remember, declarer has no idea. Declarer's got lovely clubs. I think declarer thinks that's a short lead. So declarer is going to draw trumps here. Okay, so he does. He plays the ace and king of trumps. And what happens is he hasn't established the clubs yet. So I think eventually he's going to lose one trump, the ace and king of hearts and the ace of diamonds. So he'll just go one off. He'll drift one off. And you think, well, what's the difference? Well, the thing is, if you've lost your king at trick one, let's do it. Well, it turns out because the clubs break so well, declarer takes his ace and king of trumps, hoping that the spades drop. They don't. But when he plays now, once there's only the queen of spades left out, he might as well play on clubs. So he does. He plays the 10 of clubs and the jack of clubs and gets to dummy. Can you see what happens now? It turns out the 6 of clubs is a winner. Because you played your king at trick one, you would sort of unblock the suit for declarer. You'd made it easy for him. And he can now play that winning club. Yes, East can ruff it, but South can then discard the heart. So that extra club winner is what allows declarer to get home. He doesn't lose the heart, whether East ruffs or not. If East ruffs, you throw the heart. If East doesn't ruff, you throw the heart, because the 6 of clubs is a winner and 4 spades scrapes home. So understanding partner will not underlead an ace is important. And of course, another There's so many little walls to defence, if I'm honest, but again, not when there's two honours together, you can equally well cover the second, so we will often hold back until that. Notice, ideally, you have to do it smoothly, because of course, if you take your time before ducking, declarer might decide, clearly if you'd had 5 clubs, you'd maybe know what to do. Maybe the clubs are more even, maybe I could try and play them. But I don't think declarer can make unless you cover that first club at trick 1. Okay. So that is my little bit of revision. I hope you enjoyed it. As I say, I'm not doing all the little tidbits that I usually do on a Friday. This is just a little filler while I'm in Ireland, and then we are going to start the rest of November, then December and January talking about defending doubled contracts. It's one of my bugbears. I persuade people to double contracts, and I really want you to double more and more and more. But then you forget that they are not easy to defend. The more you double, the better you will get at defending. That's all I can promise you. Okay, defending double contracts, because generally when you first start doubling, you're nervous, and of course you think, oh, I just want to get it down, but you're going to see we have to do better than that. So we will see that. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I'll be glad to see you back next Friday. Hopefully lots of you will join us. Please give us your feedback on all the things that we do. We love to hear from it, and do send in your fans as well. Thanks for your company. See you again soon.